Welcome to Creative Tian channel. Today we are going to try Tunisian crochet, and this is very similar to regular crochet. It's kind of a hybrid between the crochet and knitting. And if you've never done it before, it's really not that difficult. After this video, you will know how to cast on, cast off, increase, and decrease. Here I have several types of needles. The one I have here has hook on both sides. It's a nice feature to have two ends. It gives you more flexibility in different patterns, but most of the time we don't need it. Different brands have different lengths. Depends on size of your project. If you are doing a small piece, this will be good enough. But if you want to make bigger project, like a blanket, a baby blanket, you will need a hook with a longer cable. And the cable comes in many different sizes, just like the circular knitting needle. You can have 16 inch, 24 inches, 40 inches, depends on the manufacturer. This style has an end piece on one side, and this is another style. It has two needles, one on each end. That will give you more flexibility when you are choosing the pattern. The brand I'm using for the long hook is a Chaogu. You can find the product on their website. I ordered it from Amazon, and I believe you can also find it on eBay. I like this brand because they are not interchangeable, because I don't like the possibility of getting loose around the connection. And this is made of bamboo, so there's no problem with metal allergy for me. When we are doing the Tunisian crochet, usually we want to up the needle size, so I'm using this around the DK weight. I'm going to pick a bigger size hook, and this one is about 6 millimeters. Because the Tunisian crochet create a pretty dense fabric, so if we don't use a bigger size needle, it can become tight and curl easily. I'm going to start with making chain stitches the same way as regular crochet. You can start with a slip knot and make chains for the length you like. I will make 15 here. 1, 2, 3. Now I have 15 stitches. I'm going to start my foundation row. I'm going to pick up the loop in the back side. If you see closely, the front side is a V and the back side has a bump. If I pick up the back side, the finished edge will have a chain, so it will look nicer. We are going to turn the chain to the back side, and you can see the bumps. That's the one we want to pick up. You can pick up the front too, it will just be a different look. So you can see the bump here. We're going to skip the first chain and then go to the next bump and just pick up the stitch and then continue the next bump. Pick up the bumps. And we are near the end. Check to see how many stitches I have. Now we are going to do the return row. First we do a yarn over and go through the first stitch like that. And then yarn over again, we go through 2 stitches. And then we do yarn over 2 stitches, and we just keep repeating that. Yarn over, go through 2 stitches. All the returning row will be the same. Now we are back to the first stitch again. So we finished the foundation row. We are going to start the next row. This is a simple stitch. We're just going to pick up the bars through the front. So we skip the first one right at the edge and just go to the second one here. And then that's one stitch. And keep picking up all the bars. 3. The last vertical bar is right at the edge. When we turn it sideways, you can see a V. We want to pick up both legs of the V. So for the last stitch, we pick up the 2 yarns. So from the side edge, we will create a nice V finish similar to the bottom one here. And for the returning round, we are doing the same again. 1 stitch, yarn over, 2 stitches, and then 2 stitches all the way, pick up, yarn over, 2 stitches, and we are just going to repeat these 2 rows until the length we want. We are back to the first stitch. Again, we'll pick up the second bar, not the first one, but the second one, and leave it on the needle. And for the last stitch, you want to pick up the bar and turn it over to see both legs of the V. So that's the basic of the simple stitches. Now we are going to do an increase, and there are many different ways of increase or decrease, and I'm trying to do the easiest way. The easiest way is to wrap the yarn around the hook to create a loop here. So that's 1 stitch created, and we just continue crochet the same way. You can see there's 1 more stitch added, and I'll do it 1 more time. Place a hook under the yarn, and that's 1 stitch increased, and we just continue as usual. You can see the 2 increased stitch. Now we do the return pass the same way. Yarn over 1 stitch, yarn over, pull 2 stitches, and then 2 stitches until the end. You can see it creates a little hole that's a little bit bigger than the rest. And this is the next row. You can see that's a new stitch. We just do it the same way. Pick up the vertical line. That's a new stitch. And then a new stitch here. After you finish this row, the hole is not so obvious. It blends in more. So that's the easiest way to do the increase. Now we want to do a very simple decrease. And for the forwarding row, it's the same. We'll do the decrease in the returning row. So we continue as usual. Now we are ready to do the returning row. So I will start with a few stitches. As usual, we do yarn over, pull through 1 stitch, yarn over, pull through 2 stitches, 2 stitches. And if we want to decrease, instead of pull through 2 stitches, we can do yarn over, pull through 3 stitches. That will be 1 stitch decreased. Let's continue 2, 2, and then if we want to decrease here, pull through 3 stitches. That's 1 stitch decreased. You can see here is a decrease and here is a decrease. And we continue to do the next row. Here is a decreased stitch. We can poke the hook under both of them together. And then continue. And one more time, those 2 are together. That's 1 decreased stitch. Alright, now we tried 2 increase and 2 decrease. We should be back to 15 stitches. You can see here is a decrease. Here is a decrease, here is decrease. And the increase is on the right side. If you pull it apart, you'll see the bigger holes. So that's how you do increase and decrease. I did 2 more rows and we are going to bind off. Before we bind off, you can see the last row, there are a lot of holes in between the stitches, so we cannot leave it like that. When we finish the project, we can bind off easily using the slip stitch that's similar to a regular crochet. First we pick up the line just like before and then pull through the yarn, but instead of pull through just one, we pull through both stitches like that, so there's only 1 stitch on the hook, and then we continue to the next one, pull through, and you can continue pull through, so there's only 1 stitch on the needle. And we keep going the same way, pull through and then pull through again, 1, or you can do it in 1 step. Pull both of them through together, and you can see it creates a chain stitch edge, so that will be a nicer finish, and then there will be no holes in between the stitches. And the last one is the same. I like to poke through both loops at the edge and then pull through, and that's it. We can cut the yarn. Now we just finish the edge. You can see the chain stitch on the top and on the sides, and also the beginning, so it has nice finishes. That's a decrease stitch here and here, and the increase stitch here and here. You can give it a steam so it's less curly.